Stop hitting on the people in my life! To you saying no. No in Spanish. Okay. Look up action. Hey! I didn't come here to get insulted. I came here to get a pepper. Wow, chat, so good to see you guys. Wow. Wow, totally not sassy. Normal demon here today. Still good to see you. Hi. Hi. Hello. Hi. Man, lots of no's in the chat. What's that about? No idea what that's about. Hello? Hey. Hi. 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 Hey. We're not doing this. We're not doing this today. You're not gonna catch me in this. Nope. Nope. Oh, nope. You're not catching me in nothing. Nothing. Ah! Anyway. Up. So, I'm still working, actually. Even right now. And I only have, like, an hour. So today's stream is gonna be a little short. I'm gonna try to hurry up and get this stuff done before the next thing I have to do in 2 hours. And then we might play a few rounds of Magic. But in the meantime, what if while I'm working, we watch some Magic videos about deck building and stuff? Because someone sent me, I think it was a marshmallow a while ago, asking how to make decks and everything. So we can make this an educational stream. I know, I hate it. I want to quit. I hate it. I hate it. I hate it. I hate it. I do. I hate it just as much as you do. I don't want to work. I don't want to work. Books are for nerds. I don't want to do it, but look, that's what I'm thinking. We can tie everything together. That way you are not just watching me work. I can like react to education. Because what I'm doing isn't like, it's not like gonna require a lot of brain power today. It's really just me just getting it done, you know? I can watch something with you. I'll make my blue eyes white dragon the strongest monster? Sure. Yeah. Let's go with that. Okay? So, I'm gonna... Let's look at some videos. Let me go... open something up. Isn't that Yu-Gi-Oh? I have no idea. Wait, that sounds like a Yu-Gi-Oh thing. I don't know Yu-Gi-Oh. But... choose a format, then choose colors, then choose the strategy that will best suit the deck the most. A third of the deck has to have land cards at most. Yes, but not most people know that, and a lot of people don't even know the different color types. So, we can start there, I guess. Let me open a new tab. You can't see all of my kawaii gifts that I made earlier. Not yet. Not yet. We hold. There is no pink deck. Nope. I mean, I guess if you did red and white. Sassy, thanks for being a member for 22 months. I love noodle over. Great. Can I play Magic if I'm colorblind? I mean, yeah, if you just know what the different card types do. You don't really have to see the color. Oh, this is nice. One has 44k views and says pick the right color, a Magic the Gathering beginner's guide. And then the other one says explaining the magic color pie and what all colors are good at. And that has almost 400,000 views. Which one do you guys want to do? You want to vote? Thank you, Noodle! How about both? We could do both, but let's see who to start first. Let's see where to start. Gracias! No! No! Whatever, Sazzy. Why don't you gotta change your name back? Can you not? Is your name stuck like that? Is your name stuck like that? What a nerd. Everyone put in love with Sazzy. First time playing Magic? Not at all. Not at all. But some of you have never played before, so this is a good start. I am a queen card. You wanna be a queen card? I like this name. It's not stuck. What? So you're never switching back ever again? I'm sorry, I can't take you seriously as Zircon. I can't. I can't. No! I can't take you seriously. If you hate friends and want to destroy friendships, build a blue deck. Yeah. Yeah. That's about right. Hola, mi hermorita, ¿qué haces? We are looking at videos for Magic the Gathering. Hi, Brandon! If you hate people and want them to hate you too, choose blue! Basically, I could see Naomi choosing blue. I could see Naomi or Charlotte choosing blue. I really could. It matches their color schemes too. Is that a coincidence? No, I'm gonna think it's on purpose. In fact, I'm gonna say that it is a conspiracy. Play red if you want to win fast. Play red if you really don't want to think during the game. Play red if you're like, I'll do damage. That's what you do, and you want to do barbarian smash, goblin smash type of attacks. I have nothing to lose. Shut up, Mighty! What does blue do that makes your friends hate you? Blue basically controls everything. It's like a control deck, a control color. So let's say you put out a very powerful creature that could kill them in 3 turns. Blue can just be like, nope, you're not doing that. Counterspell! 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 It's the worst. It's so annoying. It's so annoying. That's against the rules. I think black is more known for mill. I mean, blue can also mill cards, but black is like, it makes you mill cards as an opponent and the player playing those cards. Usually you say mill 3 cards and you get 4 life or something like that. Like you're sacrificing part of your deck or creatures to gain life. And you can make other people mill as well. Blue-green is fun. Counterspell, I hate it. Okay, let me get the video up. Black wants to mill themselves, don't they? Depends on the deck. It really depends on the deck. I mean, sometimes. I can't say that that's like a consistent thing for every black deck. Black just wants to cause like pain and using that pain for their gain. Yeah, they have the ability to even wipe the board. I mean, I think some other ones, some of the colors have the ability to do like a board wipe. But they can pretty much just get rid of everything. Wait, when does the rule apply? White is usually for healing and life gain. Alright, I guess I'll start in like 15 minutes. I'll start my demon duties, or continue. I'm taking a break, obviously, right now. I am the rules, basically. Yeah, what other rules? There are no rules, basically. Green is just growth. Yeah, green is overwhelming the other. Yeah, so you can get like saplings. You can have one of my favorite cards is Driz Durden. And not just because I have the book. No, but I really love that card because when you summon him, you can summon Guinevere, which is his black like panther that follows him. That's my favorite one. So my current deck, and I mean I haven't even played with my actual deck in so long. I can't really meet up with my friends often enough to do it. And the comic book store that I go to, those people have like $1,000 decks, so I don't go there to play. But my best friend, she's been really busy, so we haven't been able to play. And one of my co-workers, she's also been busy, so we haven't been able to play. Yeah, 4/1 green cat creature. Just proxy. I mean, I I don't have a problem with proxies. Maybe I shouldn't say that. I don't know. Was it the coast like, If they're not our $1,000 proxies that you can't even play with in tournaments, we don't want them. Are your friends that want you to proxy? Are they really your friends? My best friend, she doesn't have like a really expensive deck. I mean, the people at the comic book store where they play Magic. Like, those people, those guys, they are so into Magic. Like I might go there to get like a few cheap cards, you know, every now and then. But the people who are there are like into Magic. It's like you're either spending thousands of dollars on your decks, or it's not even worth playing against them. Like, it's that bad. Your best friend is single? Stop asking about my best friend! No, you can't have her! Do they cosplay as the characters? I've seen it a couple times. Proxy's fine if we're just gonna charge us $1,000, or then I think it's justified. Yeah. Well, yeah. Only has the one of one ring, which is currently sitting at $2 million? You gotta sell that card. You gotta sell that card, Noodle. Oh my god, what? Wait, okay, wait, we're getting distracted here. Let me put the video up. Oh!
The color pie is one of Magic's most well-known and well-beloved mechanics. Each of the 5 colors has their own mechanics and ideas that they represent, and they each have their own specific strengths and weaknesses. So today we're going to go over each of the 5 colors, what they do, and some other interesting bits of color pie philosophy, such as things like allied versus enemy colors. Before we start, I do want to quickly say we won't be covering where every single effect belongs in the color pie, because there's simply far too many. It would take a very long time to go over an exhaustive list, so we're going to go over the biggest hits in this video. Starting us off, we're going to start with White. White's philosophy is associated with things like law, order, peace, fairness, and equality. He's kind of the goody two-shoes of the colors, and generally has most of the archetypical heroic characters. Of course, there are more than a fair share of white villains in lore who turn these apparent noble traits on their head, valuing order and peace over the well-being of others. Magic is careful to make none of its colors the good guy.
You seen this
White
before?
can take its obsession with order or the collective too far, and can justify some pretty horrendous things. This philosophy, like the philosophy and associations of other colors, determines what kind of effects White gets access to. For example, White's association with fairness gives him lots of symmetrical effects, such as board wipes and mass land destruction. Although there are less mass land destruction effects being printed nowadays. White is a color that usually wants to not only try and play fair, but force their opponent to play fair as well. What kind of effects are unique to White?
They do board
White
wipes
gets
as well.
lots of life gain to represent its devotion to peace. As we said earlier, it gets lots of board wipes, but it also gets some pretty good single target removal as well. White gets cards like Path to Exile, an instant with a mana cost of 1 white that exiles any creature, but gives its controller a basic land to replace it. There are also cards like Banishing Light, which exiles any non-land permanent when it enters the battlefield, but it returns to the battlefield whenever Banishing Light leaves the battlefield. So White does get some pretty strong creature removal. The thing that competitive players probably know White the best for, however, is rule setting effects. White has cards like Rule of Law, which makes it so that neither player can cast more than 1 spell each turn, and Hushbringer, which makes it so that creatures enter the battlefield or leaving the battlefield don't cause abilities to trigger. All colors get some kind of rule setting abilities every now and then, but White is the most famous for it and gets them the most often. White is a color that gets to search your library for small creatures, artifacts and enchantments, or planeswalkers. Searching your library for cards is usually called tutoring by the community. Now, Wizards doesn't print a ton of tutors, and sometimes these tutor effects are replaced with looking at some number of the top cards of your library and grabbing one of the cards you find there. The last thing that White really excels at is creature token spam. Not only does White get the most and the best creature token generating cards, it also gets lots of cards that give all their creatures a stat boost, two abilities that synergize really well with each other. Now, what effects are White good at, but not the best at? White gets artifact and enchantment destruction, but green is just as good at destroying those types of cards. White is also the only color besides black that gets creature reanimation, with white being one of the few colors that gets artifact reanimation alongside red. What kind of creatures does white get? White gets lots of well-statted creatures, and other creatures can have keyword abilities like lifelink, which means whenever that creature deals damage, you gain that much life, first strike, which means that creature deals combat damage before the other creature, double strike, which means the creature deals first strike combat damage and normal combat damage, letting it hit twice, flying, which means it can't be blocked by creatures without flying, and vigilance, meaning the creature can attack without having to tap. What are White's strengths and weaknesses as a color? White is very good at swarming the board, has tons of good, efficient creatures, and pumping their creatures up. As a result, White aggro decks have been ubiquitous and fairly successful. White's combination of having good single target removal and being the absolute best color for Wrath means that it's a great color for control decks. The weakness of the color is that White is the worst color at drawing cards, with very few cards that straight up let them draw cards, and even then, they have to work for it. This means that mono-white decks are usually aggro decks, with very few mid-range or control mono-white decks. Next is blue. Blue is the color of logic, science, knowledge, and being a butt! Blue seeks to understand the world and to bring its perfect vision into reality. Blue's playstyle is based around being clever and accumulating knowledge, using a combination of strong tempo plays and card advantage to win the game. From a lore perspective, the advantages of Blue's philosophy are its greater understanding of the world, but
they get to feel better than everyone else.
This devotion to logic.
All my homies hate blue.
What effects are unique to blue? Blue is the best color at drawing cards, getting the strongest unconditional draw effects in the game. Blue is also the only color that gets counter magic, giving it a viable yet restrictive answer to any card type. On top of that, they also get access to bounce spells. You can bounce any type of permanent besides lands, giving them strong tempo plays against most decks. As an extension of bouncing, they can also send cards to the library as well.
Oh my gosh, if you're a blue, I'm judging you so hard. I'm judging you so hard right now.
Artifacts. Blue generally gets to interact with artifacts favorably more than any other color, with access to tons of cards that like you having artifacts. Blue also gets extra turn effects. It also gets access to clone effects, being able to copy just about every card type besides lands. They also get the ability to tap or untap permanents, and finally, they get the ability to steal permanents from their opponent. Now, what kind of effects are blue good at, but not the best at? Blue shares flickering or exiling a permanent and return it to the battlefield with white, and both colors have gotten the ability to phase some permanents out more recently. That's about it, as blue gets a lot of unique effects, but also doesn't winning. Other colors part of the color pie.
Yeah, okay.
What kind of creatures does blue get? Blue gets the worst statted creatures of any color. That doesn't mean their creatures are bad, they just get their value somewhere else other than their stats. Blue creatures have keywords like flying, flash, meaning you can cast the card at instant speed, and sometimes vigilance, but not that often. Actually, vigilance being a bigger part of Blue's color pie is kind of a new development in the color pie that the designers have recently told us about. This is just a reminder of the fact that the color pie is evolving over time and isn't quite set in stone. What are Blue's strengths and weaknesses as a color? Blue is very good at generating card advantage, and it has some strong effects like bounce and counter spells to control the game. Blue's color advantage and card selection makes them really great at putting together combos. Despite these strengths, blue can have some trouble answering threats permanently, as counter spells are their only permanent answers to a card. Their weaker than average creatures leave them vulnerable to aggro decks or large, uncontrollable threats. Blue often needs to lean on any other color for good removal. Its less than stellar threat means that it often wants to lean on any other color for good beaters as well. Still, while blue isn't the best at contesting a board, it can still easily take over a game with its card advantage and counter magic. Next up, we have black. Black's philosophy is pretty well described by the flavor text of Dark Confident, greatness at any cost. Black is about individualism, self-fulfillment, and pragmatism.
Versatile.
Black is a stereotypical bad guy color in Magic. Still, there's nothing inherently evil about black in Magic. Individualism and pragmatism are often great traits for someone to have. However, in a cool world, the individualistic and pragmatic can sometimes decide they're better off without caring about anyone else. Black mages are extremely dedicated and strong-willed when it comes to
glasses, yeah, exactly.
And will do just about anything to achieve those goals.
You get it.
The difference between a good black mage and an evil black mage is what they decide to set their sights on. What effects are unique to black? Black is the best color at destroying creatures and planeswalkers. White and red give it a run for its money, but neither of them get quite as close a level of efficiency and lack of conditions on its removal spells. On top of that, black is the only color besides white to get unconditional wraths, but it doesn't get nearly as many. Black isn't just good at killing creatures, however, it's also just as good at bringing them back. Black is the only color that gets a tutor for any card it wants. The last unique effect black gets is discard, something that no other color gets access to at all. What is black good at, but not the best? Black gets some life gain effects, but not as many.
Why am I cultured? I mean, I know, but why am I cultured?
Which deal damage or cause your opponent to lose life and give you life. Black also gets some enchantment removal, but it's not as good as white or green ones. Black also gets lots of generic draw, but it requires you to lose life, so it's a little worse than its blue counterpart. What types of creatures does black get? Black gets medium static creatures, and gets to have big creatures with some sort of downside pretty regularly. Black gets keywords like Death Touch, meaning any amount of damage they deal to creatures enough to kill it, Lifelink, Menace, meaning they can't be blocked except by 2 or more creatures, Flash, and occasionally Flying and Haste, meaning the creature can attack or use tap abilities as soon as they enter the battlefield. These last 2 are more associated with other colors, so black gets them kind of infrequently. What are the strengths and weaknesses of black as a color? Black is one of the most well-rounded colors in Magic. It's very good both at developing threats and getting rid of them. It can get a good amount of card advantage as well. The biggest issues with black is that most of its best cards have some sort of downside. Black decks will often have to play lots of cards that require them to lose life, or cards that make them discard cards, or something similar. Additionally, mono black decks don't have any way to out-resolved artifacts unless they happen to be artifact creatures or something. Next up, we have red. Red is the color of freedom, passion, hate, and chaos.
Passion and
hate!
Red is
fast, explosive, and creative. In lore, red-aligned creatures are usually quick to buck traditions or structures that have become obsolete or outgrown their usefulness, but their emotional side can lead them to acting rashly. What effects are unique to red? Red's most famous and unique effect is burn damage, giving the color access to both creature removal and a way to finish out a game without having to go to combat, even in an aggro deck. Red is also the only color that gets extra combat steps. Red is also the color that mainly gets single target land destruction, though, like with mass land destruction, this has slowly been phased out and Wizards doesn't print too much of it anymore. Red is also the only color that gets ritual effects, cards that temporarily boost your mana production. What is red good at, but not the best at? Red is pretty good at destroying artifacts, but only as good as green and white are. Both red and blue are pretty good at copying spells as well, but neither is really better than the other at it. Red can also steal permanents, usually creatures, but only for 1 turn, whereas blue can steal them permanently. And red is also the only color that takes extra turns besides blue, but always with a cost, where you usually lose the game at the end of that turn. What type of creatures does red get? Red usually gets creatures that are a bit smaller than white or green's creatures, around the same as black. However, red does a much better job than black at being an aggro color because it loves to give its creatures haste. On top of haste, red creatures usually have abilities like Menace, First Strike, Double Strike, and sometimes Trample, meaning you can deal excess combat damage to when attacking, and Flying.
I think my favorite is probably green, because I really love that it builds.
And while red and black both get it, they are far
it's not
more
as
likely
fast,
to
it
get
doesn't
Menace
build
as
as
a form of
fast
evasion. What are the strengths
as
and
red,
weaknesses of red?
but the creatures are just so powerful if you get to that point.
Controlling the early game.
But I also think that red is really fun. But I think doing a green-red deck would be honestly really fun.
However, red is the second worst color in the game at drawing cards, just behind white. So it can sometimes have a hard time getting to late game if it doesn't have another color to support it. And last but not least, we have green. Green's philosophy is all about what you'd expect. It's the nature color. Green is about understanding the beauty of the natural world and accepting your place in it.
I love
From
the elves in the green.
While green has a lot to teach in terms of humility,
yeah, green has spiders, but at least those spiders have reach so I can attack the flying creatures.
Green is all about creatures and cares about them more than any other color. Green gets effects that let you draw based off of your creatures regularly, whether it be drawing cards based on how many creatures you have, or drawing cards based on the power of your creatures. Green also gets the ability to recur any card from its graveyard, whereas colors like black can only recur specific card types. It also is the color that's most known for cheating cards from your hand into play, with red being a close second. Green is also the best color at tutoring lands and creatures. Green is also by far the best at land ramp, being the only color that gets unconditional land ramp. What is green good at but not the best at? Green and white are both great at destroying artifacts and enchantments. It's also the second best color at life gain, though it doesn't have access to lifelink. It does get effects that let it gain life regularly. Green is also the only color besides blue that can counter activated or triggered abilities. Green also gets access to the occasional anthem, which is primarily a white effect. What kind of creatures does green get access to? Green gets access to the biggest creatures
Yes,
and
they
most
do.
efficient creatures.
Seriously.
White is tied for getting the most efficient creatures, but whereas white goes wide and plays lots of small creatures, and its efficient creatures are usually clustered together at the lower end of the mana curve, green's creatures at the lower end of the mana curve are less efficient, but scale quickly as you go up. Green usually gets creatures with keywords like reach, meaning the creature can block flying creatures as though it had flying, and trample, and sometimes gets access to death touch, haste, and vigilance. Green very rarely gets flying creatures, usually just on the few dragons it gets access to, which is why it gets access to reach to help out with that. What are the strengths and weaknesses of green? Green is great at playing big threats, getting lots of mana, and eventually drawing lots of cards. However, green's removal is severely lacking. The only creature removal it gets are fight effects, which let a creature you control and a creature you don't control deal damage to each other equal to their power. This, of course, requires you to have a creature out. This means that green decks with no creatures out has a very hard time dealing with your opponent's board. This means that green is a great aggro or mid-range color, but a bad control color. And it's not very good interacting with your opponent outside of the combat step. Additionally, green has a chronic lack of flying creatures that can make combat a headache for the color. Now, that's all 5 colors and their strengths and weaknesses. We have just 2 more things to go over: ally and enemy colors. If you look at the color pie wheel, you'll see the colors are arranged in a circle, or a pentagon I guess, and the colors are always next to 2 other colors and across from 2 other colors. The colors they're close to are their ally colors, and the ones they're across from are their enemy colors. This has a few gameplay implications. Mainly, Wizards printing color hate for the enemy colors, but it's mostly a color pie thing. Real quick, let's go over all of the color
Why is white
combinations
yellow? It's more
and
like a
why they're
golden
allies or
color.
enemies, and we'll go over the
like
community's name for each color
shining
pair while we're at it.
light.
Starting with ally colors, we have white-blue, called Azorius. White and blue agree on having a thoughtful, slow approach to the world. White loves order and peace, and blue loves knowledge and investigation. Combining these, you get a rigorous and scientific approach to the world. Together, white and blue form an amazing control pair, able to stall games with a combination of white's amazing removal and blue's counter spells and draw power. Next is blue and black, called Dimir. Blue and black are both pragmatic colors. They decide what they want to do and focus solely on that goal. In gameplay, blue and black form a great mid-range or control pair as well. Blue brings in counter magic, tempo plays, and draw power, while black brings discard spells, creature removal, and efficient beaters. The next pair is black and red, called Rakdos. Black loves individuality and trying to be your best self, so it goes great with red's love of freedom and hatred for anything that would confine it. Gameplay-wise, black and red decks are usually aggro mid-range decks. Both black and red have a suite of great threats and strong creature removal. This makes them great at putting early pressure on your opponent. Black really helps out red a lot, as red struggles to find card draw, which black is pretty good at, and black loves red's efficient burn spells to clean up early threats so it can save its hard creature removal for later. Next is red and green, called Gruul. Red's hatred of confines goes well with green's love of nature, not caring much for whatever rules society has set up. Both colors are about doing what feels right, and usually for Gruul decks, that's smashing face. Red-green decks are often aggro decks, combining red's early pressure with green's late-game beaters, making a potent combo. The last allied color combination is green and white, or Silencia. White's love of order can extend pretty easily to the natural order. Both colors emphasize seeing how you impact the world around you, rather than focusing on yourself. Gameplay-wise, green and white are colors that excel at pumping out creatures and usually make a great aggro mid-range beatdown deck. White helps by covering early game threats and offering better creature removal, and green shores up the late game with its massive threats and superior card draw. Now let's go over all the enemy colors, starting us off with white and red, called Boros. Red and white disagree about what matters more, the individual or society at large. Red loves chaos and white loves order. However, they do have their similarities, both being colors driven by emotion and caring for others. In gameplay, both white and red excel at strategies. Neither one really offers something the other color really lacks, they mostly just double down what both colors are really good at. Next up is red and blue, or Izet. Blue is orderly and logical, whereas red is disorderly and driven by emotion. This causes some obvious conflict. However, both blue and red have a creative streak. Together, blue and red embody prodigy or mad scientists, going wherever their ideas take them and never looking back. Gameplay-wise, both blue and red are very good at slinging spells. Their instants and sorceries tend to be some of their best cards, so blue-red decks tend to take advantage of this with tons of spell slinger synergies, regardless of if they're a combo, aggro, or control deck. Next is blue and green, called Simic. Blue is the color of the unnatural, and green is the color of the natural, so they're in obvious conflict. This conflict is resolved by applying blue's curiosity to the natural world. Gameplay-wise, blue and green mesh together in a bit of an odd way. Blue's counter magic and card draw and green's big threats, combined with the difficulty in responding to their opponent's threats, mean that most green-blue decks just try to go over whatever their opponent is doing. Who cares what your opponent has if you have a bigger creature anyway? Combining blue's card draw with green's threats allows for decks that just try to jam more value than their opponent can answer. Next is green and black, called Gawr. Green loves nature and the natural order of the world, whereas black sees nature as an inconvenience at best. Black's habit of bringing the dead back to life also gets on green's nerves, as it thinks they're supposed to stay dead. However, where both colors overlap is in their love of graveyard and graveyard shenanigans. Green sees death as part of life, and black will never shy away from anything. Gameplay-wise, most green-black decks tend to synergize with the graveyard in some way. If they don't, then black's removal, discard, and unconditional draw do a great job of supporting green's threats. And finally, we have white and black, called Orzhov. White is idealistic and group-focused, whereas black is pragmatic and self-centered. This color pair melds black's pragmatic methods with white's idealistic goals. Gameplay-wise, white-black decks are usually very strong mid-range decks, with a suit of great removal spells, threats, and thanks to black, draw spells to value out their opponent. Before we go, we should quickly mention that everything I've said so far is very generalized. There are always exceptions, and there are decks that don't fit into what I've said. This is to be expected, as players can build their decks however they want. These are just general guidelines for how things usually work. Alright, and that's the basics of the color pie. Is there anything you think we missed? Any ideas for future videos just like this one?
That was really
go ahead and leave
good.
us in a comment down below.
So, get a little insight. I choose the other one. Oh, this is it right here. Nice. Dual Logs is great. That's my first time watching
When you first
them.
decided you wanted to play Magic the Gathering, you probably noticed one of its key features right away. That color pie that sits on the back of every card.
Do the wedges?
In many ways, it's what makes this game what it is.
Blue's not
and why
the
it's so
best!
special.
Why
At
are
first
you
glance, it may
spreading
seem
this
like an
lie?
arbitrary way to divide up factions, but the more you investigate
I
it,
believe
the
I told
more
you I don't know what I
realize
just watched,
it's
I
so
believe
much
it.
more.
Water
When
is
you
not
first
best for
choose to play
beginners.
Magic, it can be a daunting task to pick a set of colors to
I think
focus on.
fire. I think red is
So
easiest
what
for
do you
beginners.
pick? Well, that's the question every player
Thank
must
you,
ask
Sun too.
themselves
Come
when
on.
they
Thank
decide
you.
to start playing this wonderful game. And it's why you decided to click on this video. It's very important to pick a set of colors
Tricolors are
that
so
resonate
hard
with
to
you
do.
on a personal level. Don't just grab some deck based on how strong it is and then be stuck with colors you don't really
I like this music.
playing. So
Hope I don't
my
get DMCA'd.
suggestion is to pick the colors whose art, flavor, themes, and philosophies mirror your idea of what Planeswalker you want to be. But how do I do that, you may ask? This all sounds so complicated. Well, that's where I come in. As a certified color pie expert, I believe I'm in a special position to help you with this decision. To get the right colors into your hand, we will go through each color and discuss what they represent from a top-down perspective, and how those things affect mechanics. Then, by the end of the video, I'm confident that you will be sure of what colors you want to play. Alright, let's not waste any more time, Planeswalker. We will begin with the top of the color pie, and make our way around, starting with white. White represents the ideals of humanity, of order, and of peace. It attempts to create a world free from chaos. Fighting for peace isn't easy though, and requires dedicated and gallant warriors to put their life on the line for what they believe in. Because of this, White fills its battlefield with selfless soldiers and noble knights, classes that stand for everything that make White what it is.
Yeah,
But what
fire
does
is
it do
easy.
when it
It's just
is
like,
confronted
oh,
by the
I want to
darkness of
attack. How do
chaos?
I attack?
Well, it imprisons them so they cannot harm anyone else. If things get out of hand and it looks like the day is lost, White is not afraid to wipe the battlefield clean, utilizing the most effective mass creature removal spells in the game, also known as wrath spells. White doesn't always wish to fight though, it simply does as it must. If it could set rules in place to maintain order, it will. And thus, within Magic, White uses enchantments which dictate the rules of the game, changing how the game is played in order to place the enemy at a disadvantage. Order isn't only propped up by law though. In a world where gods and angels do exist, piety and faith are a tangible part of life, and is something White leans into heavily. With this in mind, it's no surprise that White is the color that breeds the most angels. Angels that hold darkness at bay and prop up the weak. But what good are angels without anyone to worship them? Therefore, you will see many clerics in White as well. men and women of faith who bridge the gap between humanity and the gods and angels above. I would suggest you play white if the idea of standing for what is right is in your DNA. If you want to fight for order against chaos with an army of soldiers and knights at your side, then be sure to add this color into your decks. Blue is an interesting case. Here we have a color that is all about perfection, logic, control, and knowledge. A mindset that shows itself in interesting ways within the game of Magic the Gathering. That thirst for knowledge is displayed in Blue's ability to dig through its library using the most efficient draw spells in the game. With the library representing the mind, we can see how this is a perfect thematic fit for Blue. What does all this knowledge mean though, without a way to apply it? And for that part, Blue puts its wealth of knowledge into intricate strategies and levels of control. Blue will spend its time countering its opponent's moves, digging for the right card through scrying and drawing to finally pull off its master plan in a combo that it has built up over the course of the match. It can be hard to read a Blue player because many of their abilities can be played on their opponent's turn. Do they plan to draw, counter, or bounce a card back to your hand? You can never be sure. This goes double for what Blue plans to accomplish in order to win. Blue can often be the color of unconventional win conditions. It can use its mastery over time to take multiple turns in a row.
I'm using my wrong mouse. I'm like, why isn't my mouse working?
Whittle its opponent down, all while leaving them no room to respond by utilizing well-timed
I think I'm okay. I think I got what I need to do.
Which
You
render their
finish.
opponent's creatures useless. Play this color if you're the kind of planeswalker that wishes to always remain one step ahead of your opponent. Perhaps the first two
You
colors
have
aren't
5-colored
ruthless enough for
decks?
you. Maybe they lack
How?
the darker perspective that you desire. Well then maybe
How did you do
black
that?
is for you. Black is the color which has no flimsy moral compass. It is only concerned with how it can get the most out of this life, and will use anything at its disposal to achieve this. Black is the color most
The
at
art
peace
on the
with
black
use of
cards
dark
are
and
also
forbidden
super, like,
magic,
super
which would
creepy
cause
to
a
me.
moral panic
Like, look at
in
that. That's so
others, such as
disturbing.
raising the dead from either their graveyard or its opponent's graveyard. The shambling zombies that they summon will now do as
I don't know how it works, but it does. Oh my gosh, I want to see it.
You must be
That's
willing to
decks are easy,
sacrifice the
barely
weak
an
to find
inconvenience.
victory.
What?
And discarding those
How do you-
creatures who do not serve a
how
greater
do you
purpose
reach they
is
all
part
flow
of the road
together?
to victory. This mindset may be hard for some, but not for Black. Those who cannot stomach what it takes
Yeah,
to
I guess
win
you would need
are
dual
weak.
lands for that.
As I've said, Black is resourceful and will use anything at its disposal to win. Not just its creatures, but even its very
There are
own
zombies,
life
yeah,
force.
for black,
Trading
yeah.
its own life points in order to gain
And
strong
you can raise them from the
effects
dead.
is
You can
also part of
resurrect
the Black
creatures that are
toolbelt.
in your
Some might stand in your way. They may
your
think
graveyard?
themselves brave, but you pay them no mind. With some of the
It's a
best
control archetype.
single-target
Oh, I
removal spells
hate
in the game,
it.
you'll easily cut down
No.
those foolish enough to think they can hinder your victory. The
Nobody
creatures of
puts a
Black hold
Reina
the
in a
same
corner.
sentiment as you do, and are always hiding their own crafty tricks, poisoning their blades in order to kill no matter what the outcome of battle is. Reflected in such abilities as death.
What color do you think you're
touch.
trying, Reina?
Zombies, demons, and many other horrors
thinking,
stand
like,
at your side, so be sure to always
next
show
time
them
we
that
play
you're
some
strong,
actual Magic,
Planeswalker, and
we
never
can
back
just,
down.
I don't know.
Play Black
See
if
what
you
the
wanna win
packs
at
give
any
us.
cost, and
I
aren't
still
afraid
have to
let
go in and get
morality
all of
hinder
the
your
pack
climb
codes
to
from
the top.
previous years.
Perhaps you're the honest kind, one who is pure of heart and action. A planeswalker who wears their heart on
In
their
comes
sleeves.
goblins.
Well, then red
I
might
don't
be
think
for
they're
you.
pure of heart.
Red is direct
I don't
and
think
acts
that,
in
I don't
kind.
think
The
the
red,
Cranko
the only
mob
road
boss
worth
is
taking is the one that
pure of
leads
heart.
straight through. And this is displayed perfectly in its gameplay. Red is the color of direct damage, centering its strategies on winning
Goblin
fast.
grenade.
Using instant spells like the iconic
Yeah, I don't
Lightning
think any
Bolt
of
or
those are
Shock to either
very
zap
pure.
your opponent's life to zero, or use that
Just a
same
weird
damage
thing
on
to
your opponent's
refer
creature.
to red
Red
as.
simply gains joy from the explosive use of elemental force.
Counter
The
spell.
creatures
Good
of
job,
red
Heidi.
also mirror its ideals. You will usually see keywords like haste or first strike, abilities that represent Red's brash and
Make all
aggressive
elements red
fighting
any
style.
color. Oh, that's
A
true.
red planeswalker is one
Cranko
that
is
is
not
honest
pure
with itself, and knows that life is as simple as following your heart, even though it can get you in trouble sometimes.
Because they
It will always
hoard
lead
gold.
you to where you need to go. This ideal can be seen in how Red takes card advantage in a different direction, often having to discard cards to draw, having access to cards it drew for a limited time, or simply playing whatever cards is sitting on top of their deck at a given time.
Oh my god, look at the
making for gameplay that can either explode with potential.
Wait, look at him! Look at his little body! He's so cute! And then you have that weird goblin creature to the right. Wow, this really shows the versatility of Red. He's like, I see you. Oh, cute. Very cute.
Or fizzle out. Play red if you're the kind of planeswalker that likes to bring a bit of
Have you guys
chaos
seen
to the
Alien
table.
4?
Just be sure
You
to
know
expect
when
that you will
Ripley
either
gets
win
like
or lose rather quickly. But hey, if that's your playstyle,
she
you'll
has
have
like
fun
that
either way.
weird
You
alien
may disagree
son
with the other
that's
colors
born, and he's
feel
just
that
like,
they
hi,
enforce
mom.
themselves on the world around them, and that just isn't how things should be. We should listen to the earth and its inhabitants
Same
for
energy.
guidance.
Same
If this is how you
energy.
feel, then you might be a green
Hi.
planeswalker. Green is the color of balance, perspective, growth, and destiny. Green believes that the world is perfect the way it is, and it's our job to protect it, preserve it, and help it grow. Because of this, Green has a oneness
so
with
cool.
the land.
That was
which
something
is
I felt
reflected
so
in its
bad
ability
for
to
him.
fetch land from its library, play extra lands on its turn, or even animate the land itself to fight by its
It
side.
got banned?
With all this room to grow
Why?
and reach their potential, the creatures of Green are no pushovers, boasting the largest stats in the game. It really does pay to heed nature's call.
What was the point of making aliens
Even as
mammalian?
Green
I have
fights
no
for
idea.
nature,
I
it
still
should
don't
be no
understand what
surprise
happened in
that
the
it
fourth movie.
despises artificial things, and so will destroy enchantments and artifacts with ease. To live this way takes a special connection, and there are
You know, I've
creature
never
types
seen
and
Aliens
classes
vs
that you'll see in
Predators. I've
abundance
only
of
seen the
this
first four.
that being the beasts and elves, and the classes of shamans and druids.
Alien
These
franchise
races,
marathon.
creature types, and
Let's
classes
do
are connected
it!
deeply
I'm
with
down!
everything
It's
that
so
Green
dumb!
believes.
After
You'll
like
need
the
to be
second
patient when you play
movie.
as Green, because nature takes time to grow. But as the match drags on, you will confront your
I'm better
opponent
off,
with an
really.
ever-growing army of elves or larger and larger beasts until no army can stand in the shadow of your onslaught. Play Green if you are at
Look
harmony
at that!
with the
Look at that
natural
huge boy! Look at that! Cultivated. He's cultivating mass. Look at him! This is why I love green.
world
And
are
then you have
willing
cool
to stand
elves,
at
and
her
I love
side and
elves.
crush any outsider in your way. As you can see, the 5 colors of Magic the Gathering each bring something
Breathing
unique
fire.
to the table, and it's really what makes it the best game there is.
Yeah, it's so
Your
fun!
choice of colors is a major one.
You're
and
stealing
will
the
dictate
opponent's
how much you
cards.
enjoy the game for different reasons. Perhaps there is a color that resonates with you on a philosophical level, or maybe you just vibe with the way the colors played. Either way, picking the right color for you will dictate the lens in which you view Magic, so don't take this decision lightly. Magic is a game after all, but
It's so
it can be
fun.
so much more.
I'm kind of
And the more you
You
play
know,
and dive into its
doing
many
something more chill
worlds,
like this
the more
today,
you'll
but still
realize that
getting
the
my
color
dose of
pie is at the
magic.
heart
I'm
of what
enjoying
makes
this.
Magic what it is, and why it's so
I
special.
hope that you guys don't
to
mind
so many
it being a
people.
little chiller due
Well,
to
I
my
hope that
demon
video
duties today.
helps guide you in the right direction to find.
Oh my
what
god, face
color
reveal
is right
now!
for you.
My
There's still
immersion!
so much more to learn about the color pie and what each color represents.
My
But this is
immersion!
at least a good starting off point.
No! You enjoy this? Ew! Humans! Ew! As long as it's with you, I love it. Mwah, mwah. Okay, let's see. A beginner's guide to Magic the Gathering. This is an hour long. How each color expresses love? That doesn't sound like it's magic related. Every iconic color pairing in Magic the Gathering. This wasn't a disembodied voice? I know. I'm just as shocked as you are. You know, does this actually work? Having the little subscribe button. Hey! Subscribe! Does that actually... when you guys see that, do you feel compelled to subscribe to people? Does it work? You ship blue and black? Let's try this. Let's see. Oh, it's the same guy! Wow! I didn't even know who it was. I didn't even see the channel name.
The duality series is
Too late, I saw
dear
your
to
face.
my heart
It's over.
because It's the
It's
one
over.
that really set
It's
me on
over.
my path of my modern
It's
channel.
over for you.
And from what I can tell, it's still a big part of the color philosophy.
You can tell me to
discussion
click the
to
subscribe
this
button
day,
on the Reina Sun
as the
channel, but
series
I've never had
continues to be
that
a
thing.
popular one on my channel.
You feel less
With that in
compelled.
mind, I believe
You're not
it's
gonna
time
tell me
give
what to
it
do.
a
I'm gonna
marathon
subscribe even
treatment.
less now.
That way, you can sit down and watch them all back to back, uninterrupted.
Unless content's worth
I will also
subscribing.
be trimming out some of the facts
Why are you guys
to better
here again?
facilitate a more
Why are you
streamlined
here?
experience that I know
Just to
you'll
suffer?
enjoy. So get your popcorn ready. Your
I don't
game
have any
colors out,
popcorn.
and let's talk about the color pairings.
I'm
of
gonna
magic
hit
together.
that like button, smash that subscribe
Let's
button,
begin where it
click
all
the
started.
bell, and
I think
subscribe
with
to
three.
Reina Shooby Dooby
Dreams of the world
Button.
as being a perfect ecosystem,
Thanks.
balanced and flawless. It sees itself as a part of that ecosystem, and in turn looks to fulfill its duties
Oh, white
within it,
green?
never looking for a bigger meaning outside of what it was born to do. To that end, tradition is valuable to Green, and that it tells us our place within the world we call home. White, on the
It's
other
the buzzkill
hand,
for me. You don't gotta
wants a
put it in my
world
face,
where
bro.
peace
Either
is
I
more than
subscribe because
just
I
an
like you, or I
idea,
don't subscribe because I
where
don't like you.
even the
Bye,
weakest
right?
members of its
There are
society
some
can make a
people,
life
though.
for themselves.
This
In
is
other
especially
words, white is only as
for
strong as its
me.
weakest link.
I just
Because
don't
of this,
subscribe.
we'll
I will watch
protect those
videos
that
of
can't
people and
protect
just
themselves.
not subscribe, and it'll be
White
keeping,
sees
it'll
this
keep
through its
recommending them to
rigorous
me,
use
and I
of
just don't
laws
subscribe.
and the upholding of those laws. For with structure, a perfect
Even if I like
society
them,
can
I don't
be
know what that's
formed.
about.
Let's then bring these ideas together. And what better place to
You
start
monster!
than the core of each of these colors'
I'm
ideals?
sorry.
Nature and nurture. You see, green is the color most associated with living in the wild, free from form and structure. While white, on the other hand,
Oh, those
carefully crafts a
flowers are pretty.
society that often lives
Don't
within
click the sub
confines
button
of the sea.
twice.
Now,
Hi, Dylan. Thanks so
how
much
do
for
these
coming.
polar
Hope you're having a
opposite
good
ideas come
day.
together? It may not be
I
so
feel the subscription is not that
directly obvious,
important, but it
there
is
is
important to
room
the
for these two
creators. So
ways
make
of
sure if you
life
like
to
a
come
creator,
together.
you do
You
go
see,
ahead and give him a
with
sub,
respect
you
in
know?
mind for the
It's
natural
free.
world,
It costs
is
nothing.
possible to create cities
I
that
say
not
as someone who
only
also
exist
does what you
alongside
guys
but
do.
ones that can thrive as
I'm like,
one
no,
with
it's
it.
fine.
A city where the very walls bring water to
know
the vines
why.
that climb them. Even something like
Reina's
farming,
hypocrite
which
arc.
is structured use of the natural world, is an example of white-green.
Well, so you know what it is? I
Farming
view
looks
it
to
from a
create
creator
something new,
perspective, but also
something
from the
that
consumer
in turn services the
perspective.
needs of all.
I'm so-
We see an example of this in
No!
Pharaohs with the goddess Karametra, who sees agriculture as a way
Humans.
to cultivate nature, to improve upon what has been done before, but with respect for the land that's being used. You see, the true
How do I keep
ideal of
forgetting to do
green
that?
light
Thank you,
is to
Sun
form a
Tzu.
society
Thank
where
you.
all can thrive. One where plant, humanoid, and
I'll get
beast
better.
can all live alongside each other, in service of each other, for the betterment of all. This leads us to one of the strong characteristics
Don't
of white
report
green,
me.
and that
Come
is the
on.
desire for
What did I
unity.
do?
You see, white is the
I
color
didn't
that
do
wants to
anything.
create a society where all know peace and where no one is left to suffer alone. White has a great
Why?
passion for helping others, and especially
I
those
do
who
with the
call
brain
themselves
cell, whatever.
Then, on the other side of it, we have green, the color who sees the world as one perfect design. Where every
Wolves.
person and
So
every piece has
cute.
its place. An ideal, green will go to great lengths to preserve.
Oh.
So, this tells us all we need to know. You see, what happens when you have a society that looks out for all who share its ideals?
Keep dropping my
and will go
charge
to
here.
any length to preserve that society? Well, you get white-green, a group that lives for each other, where no one is more important than the other, and the only true goal is to create and maintain a world.
But
where
after
all
this, I
can
guess
thrive
you can tell
alongside
me what
nature.
video, what
This
color you
idea
want me to
is best
try.
seen on Ravnica with the Selesnya Guild, and I think this quote best encapsulates their ideals better than I could. We are many.
Green had the best
yet
eye at one
one.
point back when
We are
Rebecca
separate
was
in
doing
body,
the
yet
an
speak
artist.
with a single
Oh,
voice. Join in our chorus. Just like any society
I'm
that
not too
hopes to
cute
create
today. No,
peace,
you.
order,
No,
and a
I'm
strong
not
moral
doing
code, there
blue.
must
I
exist
hate it
laws that
here. You
keep us
can't
together.
make me.
You might think
You
to yourself
can't
that with
make
the influence
me.
of green, there
You
wouldn't be any laws
cannot.
in nature, and that nature
You
wouldn't abide by
cannot.
those laws if they did
I'm gonna
exist.
hate blue even harder
Well,
now.
Like I'm prone to say in many of these videos, you would be wrong. For two reasons.
I'm never
First,
wrong.
and the most obvious, is the influence of white. When crafting a society,
No,
the use of laws
it's
and morality are
not.
quite important. They help to temper the more wild parts of
I am a
ourselves
cool,
in a way that makes
zen,
it so we can all live
nature-loving
together and depend on
demon
each other.
who is allergic to
Second,
everything.
actually comes from green. You might see nature as wild and without structure, and to a degree, this is correct. But there's also order there. Any world that we visit has been shaped over many, many years.
And with
And in
that,
that time, nature has created its own hierarchies and order.
what's the color
You
for
see,
cool?
each animal knows
Green.
its place on the food chain, and every plant knows where it may grow. There's more order to the world than we may realize, and with the influence of white, it is further brought
No.
to surface.
No!
If we break down law into its bare bones,
No, I'm not doing it.
what we get is a framework for living our lives. Green has a version of this all its own, and that is in its maintenance of traditions, a framework for our lives that is based on nature. What this shows us is that green-white looks to the
Yeah,
past
winter
for
green.
guidance
Hello,
and
it's
creates
cool.
laws for the future to protect all that it holds dear. So let's look to the cards themselves for an example of this. And I think there isn't a better place to look than the many soldiers and knights of white-green. These types of characters illustrate what happens when a strong tie to tradition and law are given form. The knights and soldiers of green-white uphold a strong moral code to protect all life, and are selfless in their devotion to their people and their cause. In the end, green-white is the pair that forges a life with nature, not in the same way that green does on its own. Green by itself may want to leave the land untouched, but when white is brought into the fold, the land becomes just as important as those that live within it. In turn, the world itself also has a duty to the people, just as the people have a duty to her. This means a society carefully crafted alongside nature. One where
Beaches
cities climb
also
with
have
the
white
trees. A
sand.
society
White
where
sandy
sword and
beaches. You
shield
don't
are
hear them
held
say
up,
blue
just as much in
beaches.
defense of the
Okay?
beasts and plants
That's just
as
not a
those
thing. You don't hear them
trapped
say
in the
that.
same
They don't
city.
say that.
Well, thanks
So,
again for checking out my
I'm
latest
right.
color theory video. I'd like to know in the comments.
It's okay to be wrong, champ. Hey,
First,
I
let's
forgive
discuss
you.
the infinite potential of blue. You see,
No!
blue is the color that doesn't put a limit on its self-improvement and believes that everyone has latent talents within. It's just a matter of being willing to put in the time and effort into learning. And a never-ending always able to grow. And
I can't hear you.
what it wants from it, control to do as it wishes. In
Yeah,
the
there we
end,
go.
We all want the most from life, but because of social constraints, we hold back from some of our deeper desires. Black, on the other hand, says that there is no need to limit oneself.
Oh my gosh, I love her dress.
Black does not shackle
her
itself
little
by morality
mask.
or kinship
Cute.
as others do. It knows how the
Cute.
world works, which is to say, those who do what's in their best interest get what they want. In this pursuit of knowledge,
I'm
and
yawning
power,
a
blue-black
lot.
can be a dangerous force, and it's not hard to imagine what these two colors have in common. A desire for
I hope
power,
she is a vampire.
self-improvement, and discovery.
That's Shizu's
Both are
mom?
backed by the laws that
That was
govern
Shizu's mom on the screen, you
when talking
guys.
about color philosophy, it's not often that we get these truly dangerous combinations in Magic, ones that cannot be trusted. With blue-black around, it's best to always watch your back and never trust any deal they bring to the table. Now, this doesn't mean they are chaotic evil in the way that red-black was. In fact, blue-black isn't truly evil, it's just that it has no qualms with doing whatever is in its best interest, which may not be in yours. Now, this isn't to say that
I'm
blue
yawning
black is
so
a
much.
totally selfish pair,
Maybe
as
you're
one
not.
would assume based on Black's
Hey, boss,
influence.
sorry, I can't
I
come
think
right
because of
now.
Blue, with
Can't
its
come to the
formation of colleges
office.
and guilds, the combination sees the value
I'm
in
sleepy.
working with others who are on the same
I need a
path.
nap.
They know that they can accomplish so much more together than alone.
Yeah, eventually I'll play
What
with
we
you.
end
I
up
want to
seeing
get good
are
first.
spy rings, dark guilds, and shadow governments who look to exert control over others in order to further their own goals. There's no better example of this than on Ravnica.
They all look
without
so
fear.
punchable
This group
in the
gathers
face.
information on others
All of them.
and turns it into control.
Ew,
through
I don't take
blackmail.
5-hour energy. I don't
Or
drink
kills
energy drinks.
opponents in order to manipulate.
I only
or
rely on
remove
coffee,
threats.
nature's
See,
energy.
Blue knows that knowledge is power, and Black is never afraid to put a blade to the throat of those in its way. Blue-Black looks to the shadows to gain
Because
control
we're bad.
over others, and you'll never know your time is up until it makes its final
Good.
move. To this
Do
end,
it.
Blue-Black uses those adept at working in the dark corners of the city, calling on its rogues, assassins, and on some planes, ninjas. These adept masters move in
No,
silence,
most energy drinks are
gathering
made of rocket
information,
fuel.
sabotaging, and killing.
Or at least
all
they
in order
taste
to
like
serve
it.
their guild or ring. Now, this isn't to say that the only knowledge that blue
What
black
a creepy
seeks
one.
is
That's a
that
cool
can be
card,
used to
though.
control
It's really
others.
cool.
In fact, this pair is still quite the
Am I cutting
practitioner
out,
of
by the
magic.
way, or can you hear me
Obviously,
okay?
with the inclusion of blue, there would be mages and artificers. It's just that blue alone may be afraid to look into the darker places to find those magics. With the guiding hand
you.
of black, they are able to use magic once off limits to blue, or create machines that would have otherwise overlooked. This may manifest itself on some planes as necromages
Okay,
or
good.
liches, undead mages who personify the bridge between life and death. Perhaps it's in the use of shapeshifters, beings who steal the form of others.
That's so
On some
cool.
planes, we may even see artificers who
I love
craft
that
machines
outfit.
that kill rather than make life easier, like the planeswalker Tezzeret. Imagine a scientist not bound by law and what they could create. But most dangerous of all the forbidden magic is the manipulation of mind and memory.
Ninjas and
We
stuff. Yeah,
recently
but
got to
black
see an
also just
example
has
of this on
ninjas.
Theros in the Mind Master Ashiok, who has the ability to manipulate a person's dreams, blurring the lines of reality.
I
When it
guess it's
comes to
also the
Blue Black's
rogues.
identity,
I guess it's
manipulating the
one
mind through
perk.
psychic abilities has always been an integral part of their design, as it takes the literal interpretation of manipulating the deck, the mind, which is something very blue, and the hand, or memory, something black. What better way is there to control and gain power over others than having access to their very thoughts? Blue Black sees the
Ooh.
potential in the shadows and the power in those forbidden places. It uses an adept hand and a slippery tongue to gain control and power over others. There is much that can be achieved when an insatiable thirst for knowledge meets a desire for power. If you find yourself on a plane with Blue Black Traveler, stay vigilant, because not even your thoughts are safe.
Yeah, my whole deck's just
Thanks
death
again for
touch
checking out
rat.
my latest video. Hit that like button if you... First, let's begin with Black. To put it simply, Black sees the world for what it is, a dog-eat-dog world where only those willing to take what they want get anywhere in life. To this end, Black seeks total
No,
power,
Blue Black's
powering
fine,
itself
okay?
and power
It's
over
fine.
others.
Oh
In
man, the
this pursuit,
time.
one can never be bogged down by morality.
Deck. I think I have to go. I'm sorry. Thanks for hanging out with me. I know I'm having short beams. But thanks for hanging out with me today. It was very short. I'm sorry. Ah, I'm gonna miss you. I'm gonna miss you. I'm gonna miss you. Amy, thank you for becoming an honorary demon. Welcome to the family. Family, 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 family. I hope that your brains are ready because we're gonna play some magic, and now you're all warmed up and you know how it works, right? 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 Thank you so much, you guys, for a great day together. I'll post another kawaii gif. You've earned it. It's the least I can do. Also, I'll be back to making some more shorts and stuff. Probably this coming week. I know we haven't had them in a while. But, we're gonna get some more Reina content and videos and stuff again next week. Things have been crazy. So thank you for being so understanding. I know that I love you. I love you so much. Mwah. Hope that you eat well, rest well, stay hydrated, maybe in the best you can be each and every day. Now get hugs, 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 hugs. Ah. Demon. 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 Power. Power, 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 power. Power, 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 power. Power, 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 power. Power. Love you. Bye bye. Bye bye. Bye bye. 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 Bye bye. I don't wanna go. Okay, I'm just gonna do it. I'm just gonna do it. Be brave, Reina. Be brave.